Managerial decision making. How do you make decisions? Managers often are referred to as decision makers, and every organization grows, prospers, or fails as a result of decision by its managers. Many manager decisions are strategic, such as whether to build a new factory, move into a new line of business, or sell of a division. Yet, managers also make decisions about every other aspects of an organization, including structure, control systems, responses to the environment, and human resources. Managers scout for problems, make decisions for solving them, and monitor the consequences to see whether additional decisions are required. Good decisions making is a vital part of good management because of decisions determine how the organization solves its problems, allocates resources, and accomplishes its goals. The business world is full of evidence of both good and bad decisions. Apple, which seemed all that dead in the mid 1990s, became the world's most admired company in 2008 based on decisions made by CEO Steve Jobs and others top managers. No longer just a maker of computers, Apple is now in the music player business, the cell phones business, and the retailing business. Among others, iTunes is now the second largest seller of music behind Walmart. Cadi- Cadillacs sales made a comeback after managers ditched study golf and yachting sponsorships and instead tied in with Hollywood movies. On the other hand, Maytag's decisions to introduce the Neptune Drying Center was a complete flop. The new 1,200 US dollars product was hyped as a breakthrough in laundry, but the 6 foot tall drying center wouldn't fit into most people's existing laundry, but the rooms. Or consider the decisions of Timex with the bland life is ticking, the desire to modernize their company's image led Time managers to ditch one of the most recognizable advertising slogans in the world favor of a lame, rather depressing new one. Decisions making is not easy. It must be done amid ever changing factors, unclear information, and conflicting points of view. Chapter 6 and 7 describe strategic planning. This chapter explores the decision process that underlies strategic planning. Plans and strategies are arrived the decision through decision making, the better decision making, the better strategic planning. First, we examine decision characteristics, then we look at decisions making models of the steps executives should take when important decision. The chapter also explores some biases that can cause managers to make bad decisions. Finally, we examine some techniques for innovative group decisions, types of decisions, and problems. A decision is a choice made from available alternatives. For example, an accounting manager's selection among Colleen, Tasha, and Carlos for the position of junior auditor is a decision. Many people assume that making a choice is a major part of decision making, but it is only a part. Decision making is the process of identifying problems and opportunities and then resolving them. Decisions making involves effort both before and after the actual choice. Thus, the decision as to whether to select Colleen, Tasha, or Carlos requires the accounting managers to uncertain whether a new junior auditor is needed. Determine the availability of potential job candidates. Interview candidates to acquire necessary information. Select one candidate and follow up with the socialization of the new employee into the organization to ensure the decision success. Programmed and non-programmed decisions. Management decisions typically fall into one of two categories: program and non-programmed. Program decisions involve situations that have occurred often enough to enable decision rules to be developed and applied in the future. Program decisions are made in the response to requiring organizational problems. A certain level is a program decision. Other program decisions consider the types of skills required to fill certain jobs, the reorder point of manufacturing inventory, exception reporting for expenditures 10% one more over budget, and selection of freight routes of product deliveries. Once managers formulate decision rules, subordinates and others can make the decisions, freeing managers for other tasks. Non program decisions made in response to situations that are unique, are poorly defined, and largely unstructured and have important consequences for the organization. Many many non-program decisions involve strategic planning because uncertainty is great and decisions are complex. Decisions to build a new factory, develop a new product or service, enter a new geographical market, or relocate headquarters to another city, or are all non-program decisions. One good example of a non-program decisions is ExxonMobil's decisions to form a consortium to drill for oil in Siberia, one of the largest foreign investors in Russia. The consortium committed 4.5 billion before pumping the first barrel and accept a total capital cost of 12 billion plus US dollars. The venture could produce 250 barrels a day, about 10% of ExxonMobil's global production. But if things go wrong, the oil giant will take a crippling hit. Facing certainty and uncertainty. One primary difference between program and non program decisions relates to the degree of certainty or uncertainty that managers deal with in making the decisions. In a perfect world, managers would have all the information necessary for making decisions. In reality, however, some things are unworkable, though some decisions will fail to solve the problem or attain the desired outcome. Managers try to obtain information about decision alternatives that will reduce decision uncertainty. Every decision situation can be organized on a scale according to the availability of information and the possibility of failure. The four positions on the scale are possibility of failure, certainty, risk, uncertainty, and ambiguity, as illustrated in Exhibit 8.1, whereas programming decisions can be made in situations involving certainty. Many situations made in situations that managers deal with every day involve at least some degree of uncertainty and require non-programmed decision making. Certainty means that all the information, the decisions fully available, managers have information on operating conditions or constraints and each course of action and possible outcome. For example, if a company considered a 10,000 US dollar investment in a new equipment that it knows for certainly yield 4,000 US dollar in cost savings per year over the next 5 years. Managers can calculate a before tax rate of return of about 40%. If managers compare this investment, which one that will yield 3,000 US dollar per year in a cost savings, they can confidently select the 40% return. However, few decisions are certain. The real world must contain risk or uncertainty. Risk means that the decision has clear cut goals and that good information is available, but the future outcomes associated with each alternative are subject to chance. However, enough information is available to allow the probability of a successful outcome for each alternative to be estimated. Estimated. Statistical analysis might be used to calculate probabilities of success or failure. The measure of risk captures the possibility that future events will render the alternative unsuccessful. For example, to make restaurant location decision, McDonald's can analyze potential customers, demographics, traffic patterns, supply logistic, and the local competition and come up with a reasonable good forecast of how successful a restaurant will be in each possible location. Uncertainty. Uncertainty means the managers know which goals they wish to achieve, but information about alternatives and future events is incomplete. Factors that may affect a decision, such as price, product cost, volume, or future interest rates, are difficult to analyze and predict. Managers may have to make assumptions from which to forge the decision, even though it will be wrong if the assumptions incorrect. Former U.S. Treasury Secretary Robert Roben defined uncertainty as a situation in which even a good decision might produce a bad outcome. Managers face uncertainty every day. Many managers have no clear cut solution, but managers rely on creativity, judgment, intuition, and experience to craft a response. Ambiguity and conflict. Ambiguity is by far the most difficult decision. Ambiguity means that the goals to be achieved or the problem to be solved is under alternatives are difficult to define and information about the outcome is unavailable. Ambiguity is what students would feel if an instructor created student groups, told each group to complete a project, but gave the groups no topic, direction, or guidelines whatsoever. In some situations, managers involved in a decision create ambiguity because they see things differently and disagree about what they want. Managers in different departments often have different priorities and goals for the decision, which can lead to conflicts over decision alternatives. For example, at Rockford Health Services, the decision about implementing a new self service benefit system wasn't clear cut. Human resources or HR managers wanted a system which would allow employees to manage their own benefits and free up HR employees for more strategic activities. But the high cost of the software license conflicted with the finance managers' goals of controlling cost. In addition, if HR got the new system, it means managers in the other departments might not get their project approved. A highly ambiguous situation can create what is sometimes called a weak decision problem. Weak decisions are associated with conflicts over goals and decision after alternatives, rapidly changing circumstances, fuzzy information, and unclear links among decision elements. Sometimes managers will come up with a solution only to realize that they hadn't clearly defined the real problem to begin with. Managers have a difficult time coming up to grips with the issue and must conjure up reasonable scenarios in the absence of clear information. Decision making models. The approach managers use to make decisions usually falls into one of three types: the classical model, the administrative model, or political model. The choice of model depends the decision is program or non-program and degree of uncertainty associated with the decision. The classical model decision making is considered to be normative, which means it defines how a decision maker should make decision. It does not describe how managers actually make decisions to make, as it provides guidelines on how to reach an ideal outcome for the organization. The ideal, rational approach of the classical model is often unattainable by real people and real organizations, but the model has value because it helps decision makers be more rational and not rely entirely on preference in making decisions. The classical model is most useful when applied to program decisions and to decisions characterized by certainty or risk because relevant information is available and probabilities can be calculated. For example, new analytical software programs and probabilities can be calculated. Automate many program decisions, such as freezing the account of a customer who has failed to make payments, determining the cell phone service plan that is most handled most efficiently. Airline use automated systems to optimize set pricing, flight scheduling, and crew assignment decisions. Retailers such as the Home Depot and Gap use software programs to analyze sales data and decide when, where, and how much to mark down prices. Many companies use systems that capture information about customer help to manage risk and credit decisions. The growth of quantitative decision techniques that use computer has expanded the use of classical approach. Quantitative techniques include such things as decisions, trees, payoffs, matrices, break break even analysis, linear programming, forecasting, and operation research models. Southwest Airlines uses quantitative models helps to retain its position as the industry under low cost under. How managers actually make decisions. Another approach to decision making called an administrative model is considered to be descriptive, meaning that it describes how much managers are actually make decisions in complex situations rather than dictating how they should make decisions. According to a theoretical idea, the administrative model recognizes the human and environmental limitations that affect the degree to which managers can pursue a rational decision making process. In difficult situations such as those characterized by non-program decision uncertainty and ambiguity, managers are typically unable to make economically decisions even if they want to. Bounded rationality and satisficing. The administrative model of decisions making is based on the work of Herbert A. Simon. Simon proposed two concepts that were instrumental in shaping the administrative model: bounded rationality and satisficing. Bounded rationality means that people have limits or boundaries on how rational they can be. The organization is incredibly complex, and managers have time and ability to process only a limited amount of information with which make decisions. Because managers do not have the time of cognitive ability to process complex information about complex decisions, they must satisfy. Satisfy Satisficing means that the decision makers choose the first solution alternative that satisfies minimal decision criteria rather than pursuing all the alternatives. To identify the single solution that will maximize economic returns, managers will opt for the first solution that appears to solve the problem, even if better solutions are presumed to exist, the decision maker cannot justify the time and expense of